So today's video is going to be talking about 5 lessons that I wish I knew going into becoming a full-time freelancer and starting my video and photography business. I'm going to be sharing those with you today, so hopefully you don't make those same mistakes, or at least you know what to look for when you decide to go full-time and start scaling your business. Let's jump into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan Moore. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, what some might consider a creative entrepreneur, and I like to make videos like these for other photographers, filmmakers, and creative entrepreneurs out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live. So if that sounds like something that you're into, make sure that you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment. Let me know where you're at on your creative journey right now. So let's get into today's video. It's been a little bit since I've uploaded my last video. I've been super busy working on different types of projects, some that I will be sharing with you guys coming up in future videos. But today I'm gonna be talking about 5 tough lessons that I guess you can say that I had to learn. Some of my top takeaways that I would give to anybody out there who's just getting started or who's already in the freelance world working on building or scaling their creative business. So today, first of all, I'm coming at you with 2 different approaches. Usually I have my hat on, but today I'm just gonna let the afro breathe today. Usually, I got my hat on, I'd be like, hiding it, but today I'm gonna just let it breathe. So let's jump into this. My first number 1 takeaway would be you have to avoid bad clients at all costs. Now the tricky part is trying to decipher who is a good or a bad client. Usually when you're just getting started, it's very tough to kind of decipher who's good and who's bad. A lot of times when we're getting started, we're very excited, we're very emotional, we are eager, we're hungry to work on projects, we're eager to show people our creative skills and our talents and let them know, yeah, like I'm the one, man. You should go with me. You should use my products and services. But when you're in the initial stages, a lot of times you might be building your portfolio, or maybe you do have a portfolio, but you're actually now starting to land more and more paying clients. So one of the things that you have to avoid is bad clients at all costs. When it comes to deciding who is a good or a bad client, I'm gonna just give you a list of a few things that I would say a bad client is. First of all, anybody who is cheap and who does not want to pay. If you know this story, I want you to leave me a comment down below. Just say #been there, because we all had to deal with clients who want something for nothing. Essentially, they want everything for nothing. They're super cheap and they try to leverage their position on you. So what does that mean? When somebody tries to leverage their position on you or their status or whatever the case may be, they try to offer you exposure. And I hate that word. I hate when people say, hey, you know what? If you work for me or you do this thing for me, I'll give you all types of exposure. Stop. First of all, it usually never works that way. Whoever is the star of the product is the one who gets the exposure, not the photographer, not the videographer. They get exposure possibly from the client who you did the job for, but rarely, from at least my own experience, do people who look at somebody's video, who look at somebody's photos, go, you know what, those photos are so great, that video was so amazing, who shot your video? Sometimes that happens, but usually if that happens, it's another business person. A lot of times it's not the people who are consuming the content or who are going to be seeing the final product that you're presenting to the public. Another bad client is one who refuses to pay on time. Right? So when you have a client that you're trying to get your money from, you're chasing them down, you sent out your invoice, you're emailing them, hey man, you did the job, whatever the case may be, and you got to chase them down for your money. This is a terrible, terrible client to deal with. Now, from my own personal experience, and I can't speak for everybody else here, but usually when I have a client like this and I have to chase them down to get paid, by the time I actually end up getting the money, it's like so far gone, like that at the time when I needed the money, now it's like I don't even need the money anymore. And it's just more of an aggravation. It's more of a headache. I mean, don't get it wrong. I'm always going to accept the payment that's owed to me, but you want to get that money when it's due. Another bad type of client that you might encounter, especially as a creative, is a micromanager. Nobody likes to be micromanaged, especially creatives. Now, there's nothing wrong with receiving direction on how they want the final product or the end result to look. that's completely fine. But when somebody is micromanaging every single step that you're taking and you can't essentially bring your own creativity to the table right then and there, you need to stop that and just let it go. They're a bad client. Another type of bad client is one who always wants you to prove yourself to them, right? So maybe they've seen your work, or maybe, you know, you're still, you know, new in the game and you don't have a really deep portfolio, but it just seems like everything that you do, they want you to prove like your work, your value, your worth. They always want you to break down, you know, your numbers by hours, right? You can't just give them a project-based fee, right? Like, oh, this fee costs X, you know, this project costs X amount of dollars. They want to know, well, why? How many hours? What does that look like? This, that, and the third. They're micromanagers, first of all, and they're always trying to make you prove something. And you can't work in a space like that. You're not going to be able to give your best work. Now, I'm not saying that you won't be able to deliver an end result in a final product, but man, oh man, it is going to be hell while you're working through that whole process. All right, so now here is lesson or takeaway number 2. Always, always, always get something or some type of a payment up front. Now, this is something that I had to deal with. This is a lesson that I had to learn. I put myself into a lot of bad situations, trusting people a little too much and thinking that they would do the right thing when they were supposed to. Unfortunately, no matter how cool somebody is or how much y'all click and connect, if they're not invested or they're not willing to put something up front, give you a deposit to show that they're serious, this could be a treacherous process. Now, one of the things is twofold. As you're just starting out, you need a little bit of money because first of all, you need to live. You need to be able to create and breathe. You don't need to be worrying about keeping your lights on or paying your cable bill with your internet so you can get this project done. Also, by them giving you payment up front, it shows that they're serious and that they're committed and that they have skin in the game. So if they decide to just all of a sudden just flake out on you, no problems. You at least got something to protect you, and you at least got something that kind of, you know, will help you feel like you didn't get, you know, completely taken advantage of. Because this has happened to me, and this is something that I've had to change in my business. So now, from now on, anytime when I'm doing a project, you got to pay me something. You got to pay me a deposit, preferably 50% up front. But if not, you got to put some money down because I need to know that you're as serious as I am about getting this project done. And not only that, but you want to get the best results possible. Which brings me to the second part of this point, which is once you're growing and expanding your business and you're taking on bigger projects, sometimes you might need people to help you. And you got to pay those people who are helping you. It doesn't matter if it's your friend. It doesn't matter if it's like a VA or somebody off of Fiverr or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you need to have somebody help you, then you need to be able to pay them. And you usually want to pay them for their services right then and there. It might not be something where it's an ongoing thing. You might just need them to come in and do this one part, but you want to be able to pay them. And so if you don't have those funds available, then you're putting yourself in a tough spot because now you're giving yourself more work and essentially you're pushing back the timeline, you're getting frustrated, and a lot of times you can come to resent the project and also resent that person. So make sure you always get something up front. Now that brings me to takeaway number 3, which is give priority to paying customers. I'm going to repeat that. Give priority to paying customers. If somebody is not paying you, then essentially they go to the end of the line. If somebody is paying you, then you need to give that person, that project, you need to give them priority because they committed. They're showing you that they're serious. They put some money down and they're working along with you in this process. But if you have people, and you will have people, trust and believe, who are going to want to get something out of you before they put anything out, they will bother you, they will badger you. It's always the people who want something for nothing who are always the worst. And I mean the absolute worst to work with because they always want more and more and more, and they're not giving anything in return. Sorry, sometimes they do give things in return, which is usually a bunch of empty promises. So you want to stay away from those people, right? Because they are just like, essentially, they're a waste of your time. If somebody's paying you, then you need to give that person and that project priority. And if somebody's not paying you, you'll get around to it when you feel like it. Remember this, you can do projects on your own for free, for your own self that you don't get paid for. So why would you sit here and stress and have a headache over somebody else's project who's not paying for you? I don't care if it's a friend, I don't care if it's your mom, I don't care who it is. Sometimes, unfortunately, when you don't pay, you go to the back of the line. So remember that. Always give priority to paying customers first. Now this brings me to tip number 4. You have to know when to walk away. Now I'm not gonna lie, this one is a tough one here, right? Okay, here's the deal. I understand that if somebody is just getting started, or maybe you catch yourself in a difficult situation and you actually need the paycheck from this particular project that you're not super thrilled about, and the paycheck might not be that great, it's understandable, right? Like, all right, if you gotta survive, you gotta live, you gotta eat, you gotta put gas in the car, you gotta pay some bills, you know what? Sometimes you have to do that. You have to take the money. But then for the most part, you also have to know when to walk away. If somebody's not giving you what you feel that you're deserved, then you just have to be willing to walk away and leave that job there on the table. Let them find somebody else who's willing to put up with their bullshit, because the reality is they are gonna put you through a lot of bullshit. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. So you have to know when to walk away. When you see a bad client, when you see somebody who's not really committed, but they want everything under the sun from you, just let it go. Walk away. It's not even worth your time, because you'll sit there, you'll be wasting time with a client or on a project where you could be spending that time doing something A, for yourself, or B, something for another client or another project that you're way more passionate about, and somebody who's gonna give you what you asked for. And here is the last takeaway, number 5, which is be loyal only to your agenda. Now, I know this is gonna sound like super selfish, like, oh, be loyal only to your agenda, but yes, be loyal only to your agenda. Now, I know that our job as creatives is that we provide services, we provide products, we actually serve our customers, right? And we want to get them whatever it is that they're looking for, whatever goals they're trying to accomplish, you know, we're trying to help them get to that end result. But the important thing to remember is that you have a business, right? And you are a professional, and there's things that you want out of your own personal career. And in order to get that, you have to make sure that you're always staying loyal to your agenda. And whatever your agenda is, whatever your goals are that you want to accomplish, those are what comes first. Now, I know this can sound kind of contradictory. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm just being completely selfish, but here's the reality of the situation. If you don't look out for the things that you want, nobody else will. It's really that simple. Remember, these people are using you and your services because they want something for themselves. They're not doing it because they like you so much and they really care about your business and they want to see you be successful. That's not really the case. Now, they might say those type of things. They might be like, oh yeah, I want you to be successful and I'm just like looking out for you and blah, 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 blah. But that's not really the case. What the real deal is that they want something from you. Because think of it this way, if they didn't want something from you or your products or services, they wouldn't be using and or talking to you. It's really that simple. So please, do not let people hit you with game talking about some, oh man, I just really care about you and I want you to be successful and all this other stuff, because really they only hit you up when they want something, and it's usually for them, not for you. That's not to say that you won't benefit from a particular project or working with a particular client, but at the end of the day, remember, your job is that you're building your business, you're working towards your goals. You're not so much doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself. Now, you want them to be successful, you want to put your best foot forward, you want them to be pleased with your products, your service, your customer service, right? And you want it to be a pleasure working with you, so that way they will refer you to friends or whoever else or other colleagues, associates that they have who might be able to use your products or services. But at the end of the day, you're trying to hit one goal. That's your goal. So stay committed to your plan. So those are my top 5 takeaways for tough lessons that I had to learn getting started. There are lessons that I always have to remind myself. I've been doing this for a few years now, and even now and then, you get some slimy sneaksters who, are good with that mouthpiece and they can kind of hustle past you. And then after a while, you might think, oh, this person's really cool. And then they turn out to be just like a terrible client. Also, too, sometimes relationships that you build with other clients can start off good and they can go sour, because a lot of times you can get pigeonholed in a certain position. If you started doing something for somebody on the cheap, say like, way below market value, right? The tough part is to get market value from them later on. So That's why I say always stay loyal to your own agenda, because when you're looking for an increase and you're looking to get the rates that you want, it's more than likely not going to come from that person that you started with, because they're used to paying whatever it was that you were charging them. So keep that in mind. If you start off cheap, you'll probably never get a high ticket price. But if you start off high, then you can always command higher ticket prices. So that's it for me today, guys. Hopefully that was helpful and useful. If so, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment, let me know what's going on with you guys. Leave me a comment below, hashtag been there, if you had to deal with any of these situations in the past, because I know that I have, and I still have to deal with them till this day. But until next time, people, for all my creatives out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live, it's your man, Jonathan Moore, signing out. Peace.